I've tried to record this video, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this. I know why Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles is shutting down, and I'm allowed to share it with you guys. And they have their final goodbye here. I think if you've read through this, you can really feel the heartbeat of what they wanted to provide to the community. They strove more than any other to give back through the Zodiac tournaments, to give back directly to you guys, even in the charity stream, providing a prize card. They really did so much for the community. Whenever they would list cards and they would look around at other pre-sales, they would mark it at whatever they thought appropriate, even if it meant $8 under other people's pre-sale prices. It was relatively insane. I called them madmen so often, and they really were. And they have the opportunity to continue working and staying open, and they're shutting down pretty much for this reason, which also, as I understand, ProPlay Games has similarly decided to walk away from Konami. The owner of YGOSingles.com has very serious concerns about the culture and inconsistent decision-making that has developed within Konami. They have lost confidence and respect for Konami as a business partner and positive brand for TCG fans around the world, and therefore have withdrawn their support from Konami and its brands. That's their words, not my own, and frankly, I can see why. I've had parts where I love this game and community more than almost anything. Over half my life I've been in it, and I've had points where I've felt pushed to the brink of quitting, but I love the community so much that I can't walk away, even when it's under some people that have questionable decision making. And at the end of the day, they had a choice to continue or not. They had a choice to continue to try to make money or not. And I don't know if you guys know the scale of what they did. They were busting open up to 500 cases of core sets. 500 cases, not boxes. That's 1,000 of those shorter print secrets on market. We're about to go somewhat back to the Stone Age of the market, where the quantities are going to just disappear for the demand that currently is there, and there's not going to be anybody that fills these guys' shoes. Everybody that grows up to be big feels like they're cut down. Troll and Toad, ARG, PPG walking away, now Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles. It's really says a lot when the brands that strive the most for the community and try to do the most and grow the biggest always seem to get punished or knocked down for it. And I'm just not a fan of how these companies keep getting pushed away, but I also have to try to understand the other side. I just don't, and I can't. So YGOSingles.com has a final sale. It's goodbye. I'm not showing much on their site because most of it's gone, as they've said. They did their final restock and almost everything sold out. Even people showing support by buying out their sleeves, something to remember them by. And the person I work with through them said it's really touching to kind of see that from you guys. So do know that they're listening, that they're out there. And there's people trying to charge them back on their whole year's orders, by the way. All of a sudden, people that have consistently ordered from them, you're going to get called out if you're going to continue to do that. So just a word of warning. But what y'all came here for, that's their reasoning. They are walking away instead of choosing to continue. It's sad. I really wish they would keep their doors open, but it's their choice. And of course, they thought it through way more than I did, and my whimsical wish of continuing to see them support this community instead of just say, here, we're going to stop the bleeding. So, yeah. On to a regular market watch, guys. After all that, let's try. Card of Demise, $22 here, $26 here, and on eBay, we see it around 20, 21, 22. True Draco is causing these buyouts. We saw it as high as 32 the other day, I believe at the end of Sunday, but it's come back down a little over the past couple of days. I do think True Draco is one of the best sleeper choices heading into the 200th, and it is what it is on a buyout like this. It was relatively low for the power that Card of Demise offered, and with other stun decks perhaps viable in the future using this card, I figure 15 would have been a good price to go ahead and get yours. Even with the unlimited run of Kaiba's collection, it seems that this buyout was able to just go massively. But you do see Kaiba's collection come back onto the market much quicker at 22 prices, whereas the original Ultras are having trouble coming back at all. Talking about True Draco, proof in the pudding, this is the buyout that's happening. Ignis Heat back up towards $11 freaking dollars over here. We see a Canadian one at $9.20 before $9.40, and then $12, almost completely gone from eBay. Now, a lot of TCG prices during this market watch might be higher because they had their 5% kickback on all singles recently. But we do see True Draco overall, like we see a bunch of upped prices, like the lowest English Disciples over here, actually over $7 now and almost completely bought out. Just so much is happening with True Draco, and I really do think it's one of the best decks. It could, by surprise, take the 200th by storm, as everybody else's decks were hit, and we're looking at this, and they lost to Terraforming, yes, but their draw power and consistency is so off the charts with Pot of Duality, you have Card Demise, you have so much heritage, so much draw power and search power with Diagram in the deck. I think it is a really good choice for the 200th. Evenly matched continuing to creep on up over here on TCG Player. Maybe flexing part of that sale because we see on eBay just so much cheaper. $23.50, $23.50, $24, $24. Takes a really long time to reach up to where TCG Player is, and I think this does show the inconsistencies of when you have just two markets with independent sellers on how one can flux and why we always check both and emphasize that on the show. So, evenly matched, definitely defining itself as the chase card of the 10s and continuing to pull apart. On TCG Player, almost $10 ahead of the next card, which is Borreload. Firewall surprisingly staying up here after the list. A lot of people were really that scared, huh? That's really what was keeping it down? That's just shocking to me, actually. And we continue to go on down through the Mega 10s. Electromite really is surprisingly holding for the hit that it just got. We see blue and purple staying around where they were. Inspector Border creeping on up, actually. So you might want to get your borders sooner than later. Speaking of chase cards unexpectedly in sets, Ash Blossom as a super rare with that shorter print, being able to maintain around the 28 plus price, creeping up actually just a tiny bit. But on eBay again, it's lower, 25, 25, 27. I don't know that that just 5% off causes these differences, and we do see that it's only a couple independent sellers below before it quickly does spike towards 27, 28 on eBay. But with no coolant in sight for Ash Blossom, it seems that people are starting to confidently go for this version, the ultra rare version, and other variants. So kind of be careful on which one you're picking up. I think you might want to spend extra money versus the supers if you can, but I understand being on a budget and how expensive this format is really kind of prying people's wallets apart. Alistair actually falling down below the 20 mark in multiple places also, so you might be able to get a deal on this. I don't think that the Mech Knight Invoked is really meta pushing, especially since the Sky Striker engine got hit, which was really what pushed this deck to its next level. I'll have to see how builds continue. Let me know down below if you think it's viable at the YCS level and not just the regional level. If you think this will be able to push itself in the YCS top cuts, and what variants you think will be doing that. The Invoked Mech Knights, or other versions such as that. Moving on, we have Ghost Bell actually going on up. We were surprised at first by Impermanence, which is slowly falling back down, slowly. But Ghost Bell is now the one spiking, really good against Call by the Grave and many other cards this format. We've seen her get multiple volleys of buyouts in the past already, but over here on eBay, once again, we see she's relatively cheaper. So 5% is just 5%. I really don't think that that's what really drove these buyouts on TCG Player. If it is, it's a little insane. And as I always say, check both, because it's a decent chunk, not the biggest, but a decent chunk cheaper over here. And finally, something happening with the collector's market that was just pointed out to me. Somebody asked me what I thought of Ultimate Dark Magician and Blue Eyes, and it turns out the cheapest first edition Dark Magician is actually Adam Korn Overdose Gaming coming in hot here for the ultis, and you see its market price $130, but there's so many unlimiteds that we get to page 7 before the first eds. And then we look at eBay as well for first edition, and we see good condition, not really saying near mint, used, like all these cute terms, but I don't think there's any actually near mints here on eBay. Pretty interesting, isn't it? And then we go over for the Blue Eyes, and we see there's actually no first eds that are near mint until we get to the final page. $8 by Hot Sauce versus the market price of $250. I think this buyout on the first eds is not bad. I think you'll make your money long term at whatever you bought them out at. And we come over here to eBay to look for a near mint. We don't see that description near mint on there. But we do see Ultimate Rare First Edition damaged. Are there any? Are there? Actually didn't scroll this all the way through. I just figured there'd be some at these prices. Wow. No near mints on eBay either. So completely bought out for the first editions. If you have yours, maybe time to list it or hold on to it. I figured these would go up for a while, but it is interesting to see it finally happen. And for people messaging me on these, I do always say my honest thoughts. You're at risk when you bring these buyouts to me, but I think the first eds for these are pretty decent buyouts. The unlimiteds, I wouldn't go for it, but I think after seeing this, people might kind of go for the unlimiteds. I think first ed's a lot different when it comes to a starter deck that's not going to see a first ed run again, whereas they can just pump out unlimited of the reloaded structures. So not a bad pick. Real collector cards, and they're only rarities to see this, so not bad. Again, I'm sorry if my mood's a little bit of a downer. Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles did mean a lot to me. But what did you guys think of today's market watch, and how do you feel about Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles going down? Do you feel like the market's about to get a lot crazier? What's going to happen with that? And how do you think pre-sales are going to go between companies, knowing that they're not going to be there for the next one? Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about it.